Hello and welcome to all our viewers around on Global TV live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. The Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy has announced the commencement of application positions under its Build-a-Town Initiative program. The program, which was launched earlier in December, according to the Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, will promote early technology adoption among senior secondary school students. The program will run for 4 days in January 2024, and it is expected to have 1,500 students from 150 schools in 3 locations: Owerri, Maiduguri and Abeokuta. The ministry added that the right candidates should be visionary educators, teachers and enthusiasts who would enable and be able to guide the next generation of tech innovators in secondary schools. Governor of the Southwestern States, under the aegis of the Southwest Governors Forum, have resolved to set up a joint committee to collaborate with the family of Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu to give the late governor of Ondo State a befitting burial. This was disclosed on Friday by the Ogun State Governor, Dakpo Abiodun, during a condolence visit to the home of the Akeredolus in Ibadan, Oyo State, alongside his counterparts from Oyo State, Ademola Adeleke, Ekiti, Biodun Oyebanji, while Governor Seyi Makinde was represented by his deputy, Bayo Lawal. Speaking on behalf of his colleagues, Abiodun described the deceased as a very dependable, reliable, predictable, consistent person who never hesitated at any point in time to say exactly how he felt on any issue, regardless of how controversial. Abiodun said the late Akeredolu was a fearless and courageous man who advocated and championed the cause of a southern presidency and worked towards it. In an interview later, Governor Abiodun said that the visit by the governors was to identify with the Akeredolus in this trying moment. Meanwhile, the 44 local government chairmen in Kano State have commenced legal actions against the state government following allegations that the government intends to utilize their funds for the construction of bridges in Kano City. The lawsuit, filed under case number FHC/ABJ/CS/1733/2023, names key state officials, including the Kano government, the Kano State Commissioner for Justice, and the Accountant General of Kano as defendants. The local government chairman alleged that the governor has misappropriated their funds for the construction of the Dan Agundi and Taludu bridges, coinciding with the government's preparations to launch the ambitious projects estimated at 15 billion naira, with the project's launch scheduled for Saturday, December 30th, 2023. The legal action seeks an urgent court order to restrain the Kano government from accessing their joint account, dated Friday, December 29th. The case document noted the local government chairman's plea to safeguard their funds from being diverted to the bridge project. The House of Representatives has proposed a bill that will make it illegal for employers of corporate entities in the country to delay or fail to pay their employees' salaries. The Employees Remuneration Protection Bill 2023 is sponsored by Wale Ahmed, a member of the House representing the Agege Federal Constituency in Lagos State. The bill first stipulates that it is unlawful for any employer to refuse or neglect to pay the remuneration of his employees as provided under the Act, according to Section 7, subsection 1 of the bill, which has passed its first reading. A similar bill was proposed by the current Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, when he was a Speaker of the House of Representatives. The proposal was contained in the Employees and Workmen Unpaid Wages Prohibition Bill 2016, but was recalled for reconsideration by the Ninth Assembly, where it passed the first reading in July 2019. Gbajabiamila had said that the bill seeks to provide for the prohibition of late payment, non-payment and underpayment of workers' wages in Nigeria and prescribed penalties for violation and for other matters connected. 2 policemen have been gunned down in Anambra State by some suspected kidnappers wearing military camouflage. The command, in a statement on Friday, said the officers were killed around Uga roundabout in Aguta, local government area of the state. The assailants were reportedly on a kidnap mission when a team of police attached to a motorcade ran into them on Thursday night. The command said the officers were trying to clear the traffic gridlock when the gunmen shot 2 of them dead and fled the scene. The police public relations officer in the state, Tochukwu Ikenga, who confirmed that the assailants wore military fatigues, said the Commissioner of Police, Aderemi Adeoye, had directed an intensive manhunt for the assailants, adding that the police-led mobile forward operating base, which had been patrolling the area during Christmas period, promptly responded to the incident, adding that the Lexus SUV the gang used an AK-47 rifle belonging to one of the slain officers. The statement read that the CP has urged all officers and men of Anambra State Police Command to redouble their efforts and remain vigilant while assuring that technology would be deployed to track down the criminals who unleashed the attack on police personnel, and he has also urged operatives of the command not to be demoralized by the incident but to draw inspiration from the bravery of the late officers in confronting the criminal gang, while also condoling with the families of the deceased officers and vowed that they wouldn't die in vain. Governor Basi Edet-Otu of Cross River State has signed into law a budget totaling 296,985,631 naira 978 kobo, themed the People's First Budget. The signing ceremony held at the temporary office of the governor in Calabar, the state capital, on Friday, saw the economic sector taking the lead with an allocation of 104,986,870,898 naira 59 kobo. Presenting the estimate to the State House of Assembly on October 26, the state's chief executive stated that they have prioritized a higher capital expenditure over recurrent expenditure in the public expenditure structure. Otu had initially proposed a budget size of 250 billion naira, with 154 billion for capital expenditure and 96 billion naira for recurrent expenditure. However, the Assembly increased it by 46 billion to 296 billion. Governor Amadou Umaru Fintri of Adamawa State has signed 225.893 billion naira budget for 2024, titled Budget of Re-engineering. The budget allocates 111.3 billion to recurrent services and 114.5 billion naira for capital expenditure, reflecting an increase from 214.2 billion naira budgeted in 2023. The State House of Assembly, which had previously endorsed the budget earlier this month, aligned its approval with the 2024 to 2026 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. Governor Fintri expressed gratitude to the State House of Assembly for the swift passage of the budget within the stipulated time frame. He affirmed his commitment to maintaining the harmonious relationship between the executive and legislative arms of the government. Meanwhile, Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State on Friday signed the 2024 appropriation bill for his state into law, promising to ensure its full implementation. The governor's spokesman, Olawale Rashid, said in a statement that the total approved budget was 273,908,997,410 naira. Adeleke had presented the budget to the sitting of the State Assembly in November. The governor said the budget, tagged Budget of Reconstruction and Recovery, was crafted to fast-track the revitalization of various sectors of the state economy. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has predicted the likelihood of dust haze on Friday nationwide. NIMET's weather outlook released on Friday in Abuja predicted the prevalence of dust haze across various regions of the country. The agency attributed this to a high concentration of dust in the atmosphere. It added that horizontal visibilities will range between 2 km and 5 km in most areas. However, few locations within northern regions may encounter poor visibility with distances as low as 100 meters or even less. NIMET advised individuals to be mindful of the weather conditions and take necessary precautions to mitigate any potential health risk associated with the prevailing dust haze. Moving on, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Lagos State Command has decorated 790 promoted officers in the command. According to a statement by the state's NSCDC spokesperson, DSC Abolori Oluwaseun, on Friday, the decoration was done on Thursday at the state command's headquarters in Alausa, Ikeja. Oluwaseun said the state commandant, Usman Alfadarai, advised the promoted officers to justify their new ranks with professional, operational and administrative performance and be good ambassadors of the Corps. He advised the promoted officers not to see the promotion as an advantage to intimidate their colleagues or a reason to undermine the professional ethics and practice of the highly revered and esteemed service. The Managing Director, Nigerian Railway Corporation, NRC, Fidet Okiria, said that the corporation lost over 150,000 rail clips due to constant vandalism along railway tracks across the country between 2022 and 2023. Okiria disclosed this at the end of the year media briefing in Lagos on Thursday. He said that over 50,000 clips each had been vandalized between Lagos to Ibadan, Warri to Itakpe, and Abuja to Kaduna standard gauge tracks between 2022 and 2023. Okiria said that the corporation had engaged in constant sensitization to communities where the vandalism took place to make them realize the implication of the acts to the growth of rail networking in the country. You're watching the news cycle live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all our social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When news cycle returns, Nigeria's February crude exports may dip despite plans to boost production. The news continues shortly with details of this and more stories right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. On the foreign scene, Russia launched drone and missile strikes across Ukraine on Friday, killing at least 12 people and wounding over 70 in one of the biggest air attacks of the war. The military said 158 missiles and drones were fired on Ukraine and 114 of them were destroyed. Ukraine is urging Western allies to maintain military support after the United States just released its final package of weaponry under existing agreements. Russia tried to overwhelm Ukraine's air defenses across most major cities, launching a wave of Shahed attack drones followed by missiles of numerous types fired from planes and from Russian-controlled territory. Buildings damaged in 6 cities, including warehouses, a shopping mall, and a maternity hospital, according to officials. Several other residential and warehouse buildings were badly damaged. Russian and U.S. space agencies have agreed to keep working together to deliver to the International Space Station ISS until at least 2025. The space sector, including its so-called cross flights, that involves sending crews from different nationalities on one spacecraft, is a rare area of cooperation remaining between Moscow and Washington since Russia sent troops to Ukraine. It also aims to guarantee the presence of at least one representative of Roscosmos on the Russian segment and the presence of at least one representative of NASA on the American segment. Russia said in April that it planned to use the International Space Station until 2028, an apparent reversal of an earlier announcement to quit the orbiting laboratory after 2024. In another development, Nigeria is expected to lay its hands on the long-awaited foreign exchange support facility from Afrexim Bank today as the government of Africa's most populous nation looks to ease the acute FX shortage that has hobbled the economy and pushed for growth. Business leaders in Lagos have called the development a major catalyst for the economy, as the arrival of the funds could help curtail the exchange rate volatility and ease inflation. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister Wale Edun stated that Afrexim Bank will make the announcement regarding disbursement at the appropriate time. In business still, the Nigerian Exchange Group has announced the appointment of Temi Pupola as the Group Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer Designate of the group ahead of the retirement of the current GMD, Oscar Onyema, next year. According to a statement signed by the group company's secretary, Obehi Igage, on Friday, the appointment will take effect on January 1st, 2024. Also, the Executive Director of Capital Market of the Exchange, Jude Chiemeka, has been appointed acting CEO of Nigerian Exchange Limited. Nigeria's crude export for February is expected to see marginal decline, according to data. Exports of 4 main Nigerian crude oil grades in February are set to average about 657,000 barrels per day, according to preliminary programs, down slightly from the previous month. The scheduled loadings is coming as Nigeria pushes to reach and exceed the 2024 crude oil production budget target of 1.7 million barrels per day. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lokpobiri, said that the country can boast crude oil production to 2 million barrels per day. The minister also expressed his commitment to promoting collaboration with stakeholders to improve the country's oil and gas sector. Google has agreed to settle a consumer privacy lawsuit seeking at least $5 billion in damages over allegations it tracked users' data who thought they were browsing privately. In a court filing, the judge confirmed that lawyers for Google reached a preliminary agreement to settle the class action lawsuit originally filed in 2020, which claimed that millions of individuals had likely been affected. Lawyers for the plaintiffs were seeking at least $5,000 for each user it said had been tracked by the firm as they visited Google Analytics or Ad Manager in private browsing mode while not logged into their Google accounts. In sports, according to the Confederation of African Football, Nigeria ranks 4th in terms of tickets purchased ahead of the African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast next year. The 34th edition of the AFCON has been slated to hold January 13th to February 11th, 2024, across 5 cities on the south coast of West Africa, and CAF on their official handle on Thursday tweeted about ticket purchases. Ticket sales for Nigeria are among the top 5 on the continent. According to the data on the football governing body X handle, a total of 12,544 tickets have been purchased by the country. The host nation, Ivory Coast, leads the pack with a formidable 32,307 tickets sold, closely followed by Guinea-Bissau, 28,614, and Equatorial Guinea, 16,237, in second and third places respectively. Champions Senegal completed the top 5 in the number of tickets purchased with 10,959 figures. Brentford midfielder Frank Onyeka says he is looking forward to representing Nigeria again at the African Cup of Nations for a second time in his career after being part of the last AFCON team, which was played in Cameroon in early 2022. Despite making the last squad, Onyeka only played 15 minutes in Nigeria's 4 matches when he came on for Kelechi Nwakali in the 76th minute during Nigeria's last group game against Guinea-Bissau. Since making his debut for Nigeria in October 2020, the 25-year-old has gone ahead to play 12 times for the country and will be looking for an opportunity to add more caps at Africa's biggest tournament. And that's it on Global TV News Cycle, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. Don't forget, we're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.